Animorphs, the Invasion. Chapter 16. I did it Monday morning in my locker at school. I turned into a lizard. A green anole, to be exact. It's a member of the iguana family, like you care. I waited till the bell rang for the first period, which was English class. When everyone else was out of the hallway, I just climbed into my locker. I tried to act cool about it, just in case anyone was watching. The locker was about 2 inches shorter than me, so I had to crouch, and it was so tight I couldn't move. The only light was from the 3 small ventilation slits. I could hear my heart pounding in the cramped, dark space. I was afraid. It was one thing to turn into a dog. It's weird, it's strange, but it's also kind of cool. Dogs are cool animals, but lizards? I should have practiced, I muttered under my breath. I really should have practiced like Cassie said. I started to focus for the morphing. I remembered for the way we had caught the lizard the night before last. We'd spotted it with a flashlight, and Cassie had put a bucket over it so it couldn't get away. It had been fairly creepy, just touching it to acquire its DNA pattern. Now I was going to become it. The first thing I noticed was that I suddenly had more room inside the locker. I didn't have to crouch down. My shoulders weren't scrunched up anymore. I touched my face with one hand. My skin was looser than it should have been, and pebbly to the touch. I ran my hand over my head. My hair was almost all gone. Things began to happen very fast. The locker grew and grew around me. It was big as a barn, big as a stadium. It was like falling off a skyscraper and taking forever to hit the ground. I was standing on something sticky, as large as a boulder. How had a boulder gotten into my locker? But then I realized it was a wad of gum, an old chewed wad of gum stuck to the bottom of my locker. Gigantic drapes as big as the sails of a ship were falling all around me. They were my clothes in the dim light. I could see 2 monstrous, misshapen things on either side of me. I could just make out the Nike swoosh, and realize they were my shoes. They were the size of houses. And then the lizard brain kicked in. Fear! Trapped! Run! 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 I shot left. A wall! I scampered up, feeling my feet stick to it. Trapped! Run back! Another hard surface. Trapped! Run! 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 I fought to get control, but the lizard brain was panicked. It didn't know where it was. It wanted to get out. Out! Go toward light, I ordered my new body. The ventilation slits was the way out. But the body was afraid of the light. It was terrified. I was still bouncing off the walls. I could not overcome the panic instincts of the lizard body. Go to the light, I screamed inside my head, and suddenly I was there. I poked my head out, and my body slithered after me. My tongue flicked out, and I got a weird kind of input from it, like smell, only not quite. It kept flicking. I could see it shoot out of my mouth and lick the air. In the bright light, I realized how bad the lizard eyes were. I couldn't make sense of what I was seeing. Everything was shattered and twisted around. Down was up and up was down. Colors weren't even close to right. I tried to think. Come on, Jake. You have eyes on the side of your head now. They don't focus together. They see different things. Deal with it. I tried to make sense of the pictures using this knowledge, but they were still a mess. It seemed to take me forever to figure it all out. One eye was looking down the hall to the left. The other was looking down the hall to the right. I was upside down, gripping the side of the locker, which was like a long gray field that wouldn't end. And all the time the green anole brain was fighting me. Now that it was out of the dark locker, it desperately wanted to go back in. Chapman's office, I reminded myself, but where was it? Left, that way. Suddenly I was off and running, straight down the wall. Zoom! Then on level floor. Zoom! Around a scrap of paper twice as big as I was. The ground flew past. It was like being strapped into a crazy, out-of-control missile. Then my lizard brain sensed the spider. It was a strange thing. Like I wasn't sure of it if I saw the spider, or heard it, or smelled it, or tasted it on my flicking lizard tongue, or just suddenly knew it was there. I took off after it, racing at a million miles an hour before I could even think about stopping. My legs were a blur. They moved so fast. It probably wasn't a huge spider, not if you were a great big human being, but to my lizard eyes it looked as big as a small child. It was huge. I could see the multiple black eyes. I could see the individual joints in its 8 legs. I could see the clicking, awful mandibles. The spider ran. I ran after it. I was faster. No! I screamed inside my head, but too late. My head jerked forward, fast as a striking snake. My jaws snapped, and suddenly the spider was in my mouth. I could feel it fighting. I could feel the spider's legs squirming and fighting to get out of my mouth. I tried to spit it out, but I couldn't. The lizard's hunger for that spider was too great. I swallowed the spider. It was like swallowing a whole canned ham, a canned ham that was fighting all the way down. No, no, no! My brain cried in horror and disgust, but at the same time the lizard brain was pleased. I could feel it become slightly calmer. That does it, I told myself. I am out of this morph. I wanted out of that horrible little body. I didn't care who saw me. I was going to morph back to human shape. Marco was right. It was insane to get involved in this. Insane! I heard the ground shake. It was a noise like a giant stomping across the land. It was a giant. There was a huge shadow in the sky. It was like someone was trying to crush me by dropping an entire building on my head. The shoe came down. I scampered left. Another shoe. My tail. The shoe was on my tail. I was trapped.